Avatar: The Last Airbender is a good show. Okay, we all know that Avatar is the best thing since sliced bread, but I wanted to make this video to draw special attention towards the character arc of the series' greatest villain, Azula.
You're wasting your time. That's not one of them.
How do you know?
Because I'm a people person.
In many ways, Azula could be considered the primary antagonist of the series. Sure, Fire Lord Ozai is the looming presence that Aang must ultimately conquer, but Azula represents his legacy and stands as the clearest example of how toxic Ozai's ideology is. Speaking purely in terms of screen time compared to other villains like Ozai, Zhao, or Zuko, Azula acts as the main antagonistic force against our heroes. And for most of this duration, Azula remains as the top dog. Her deadly skills as a firebender, her unparalleled ability to manipulate those around her, and her insatiable drive to serve the Fire Nation make her an extremely formidable opponent. Azula thrives in almost any encounter that she throws herself into, and even when she doesn't directly accomplish her goal, she never really loses much either.
She's not gonna make it. Of course she did.
That is until an episode towards the end of Book 3, The Boiling Rock. In this two-part episode, Sokka and Zuko attempt to break Suki and Hakoda out of a Fire Nation prison, and just as they're about to escape, Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee intervene. When Mai decides to betray Azula by sparing Zuko's life and aiding in his escape, Azula says what I consider to be her most important line of dialogue in the entire series.
I guess you just don't know people as well as you think you do. You miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you.
No, you miscalculated! You should have feared me more!
This sentence perfectly encapsulates Azula's philosophy, while also revealing two crucial pieces of information about her. The first is that Azula feels deeply hurt and betrayed by her two friends. After all, Mai and Ty Lee are the only people who seem to like and spend time with Azula. The three have known each other since childhood, and Mai and Ty Lee are likely the only two people that Azula values and trusts, save for perhaps her father. Having her closest and only friend stab her in the back like this really hurts her, and you can feel that pain in the venom of Azula's words. The second piece of information we learn is that Azula's very identity has been challenged. While Azula prides herself on being a people person, Mai proved unequivocally that Azula misread the situation and failed to understand and control the people around her. Azula's ideology, made blatantly clear from the aforementioned quote, is that fear is more powerful than love. On paper, that's a very cliche belief for a villain to hold, but this is Avatar: The Last Airbender, so this situation is far more complex than it might initially seem. In one of the show's best episodes, Zuko Alone, we're shown flashbacks of Azula's and Zuko's childhood. Even from a young age, Azula was a cunning manipulator and a skilled firebender, far outshining Zuko on both those accounts despite being 2 years his junior. But how does a child get to be like that? The answer is her father, Ozai, who from day one recognized her natural talent as a firebender and raised her to respect power above all else. As much as he rejected Zuko, Ozai praised Azula, feeding her a constant line of attention and recognition that led Azula to believe that love and compassion were weaknesses. Azula spent her life being rewarded for her cruelty, which is why it's shocking to her when an act of cruelty, like attempting to murder one's brother, is thwarted by Mai and Ty Lee. Earlier in Book 3, in another of the show's best episodes, The Beach, Azula admits to being jealous of Ty Lee's ability to attract teenage boys. Not because Azula is particularly interested in teenage boys, but because she's used to being the center of attention. The very notion of being the second most important person in the room is foreign to Azula, just as the notion of admitting weakness is foreign to her. While Mai, Ty Lee, and Zuko all open up emotionally to one another towards the end of the episode, Azula nonchalantly mentions that her own mother thought she was a monster.
I could sit here and complain how our mom liked Zuko more than me, but I don't really care. My own mother thought I was a monster. She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
But Azula's casual demeanor here hides a deep pain that she herself doesn't understand the depths of until it's too late. We'll return to this topic in a bit. Directly after the events at the Boiling Rock, Azula tries to murder her brother.
What are you doing here?
You mean it's not obvious yet? I am about to celebrate becoming an only child!
Because Mei and Ty Lee betrayed her, Azula thinks that any ally or friend isn't worth keeping around. Zuko, after all, joined Azula's side at the end of Season 2, only to defect from the Fire Nation later on. So it makes sense to Azula that Zuko isn't worth keeping around. It doesn't matter to her that he's her brother, because Azula has convinced herself that bonds of love and friendship will only hurt her in the end. Azula's decline only deepens in the 4-part series finale. Upon learning that she won't be traveling with Ozai to raise the Earth Kingdom, Azula becomes indignant and complains how unfair this all is. But she is then placated upon learning she'll become Fire Lord.
I need you here to watch over the homeland. It's a very important job that I can only entrust to you.
Really?
And for your loyalty, I've decided to declare you the new Fire Lord.
Fire Lord Azula? It does seem appropriate.
There is a genuine relief and excitement in Azula's response here. She immediately lapses back into her confident and arrogant self, but we're still given a glimpse of the angry child beneath Azula's mask. This mask continues to slip on the day of Azula's coronation, when she banishes a servant for leaving a pit in one of the cherries that she was eating. She banishes the Dai Li, her immensely valuable and fiercely loyal bodyguards, for showing up kind of late when she summons them. She banishes the Imperial Firebenders, the rest of her servants, and one of her closest advisors, because
None of them could be trusted. Sooner or later, they all would have betrayed me. Just like Mei and Ty Lee did.
Azula pushes away her friends and allies so that she can never be betrayed or burned by anyone ever again. She thinks she has to rely solely on herself, but when she is alone, Azula's insecurities are laid bare.
My father asked you to come here and talk to me, didn't he? He thinks I can't handle the responsibility of being Fire Lord.
But Ozai does think Azula can handle being Fire Lord. That's why he put her in charge. It's Azula who doesn't believe that she can bear this new responsibility, because the truth is that Azula needs her friends, she needs her allies, and she needs her mother.
Even you fear me.
No, I love you, Azula. I do.
Of course, Azula's mother isn't actually there. It's all just a trick of Azula's imagination. In case you weren't convinced that Azula is extremely unstable at this point, she chops her hair off asymmetrically, physically demonstrating her lack of emotional balance. And balance is something that Azula desperately needs in her final battle against her brother. In the Season 2 finale, Zuko challenges Azula to an Agni Kai, and she declines the duel without missing a beat. Yet in the Season 3 finale, it's Azula who challenges Zuko to an Agni Kai, because she's now the one who has something to prove. Continuing with the idea of balance, which is a major theme of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Azula's stance and posture in this fight are notably unnatural. She lunges and slinks around the palace, looking like she might fall down at any given moment. And when goaded by Zuko into using her lightning, which he knows he can redirect, Azula, once a master strategist, takes this bait without a second's hesitation. While she plays dirty and aims her lightning at Katara, Zuko jumps in front of it, and soon a girl from the Southern Water Tribe is all that stands in Azula's way. But even at the height of her strength, with the power of Sozin's comet fueling her firebending, Azula is defeated and chained by Katara. This isn't a triumphant moment, but a tragic one. The hauntingly beautiful score that plays over this scene sets the tone clearly. It's sad that a 14-year-old girl was so desperate for power and validation that she would attempt to strike down her own brother. And it's sad that that girl became so terribly, helplessly alone. By contrast, Zuko only wins his duel against his sister because he relies on Katara. In fact, Zuko only survives the duel because Katara heals him. The very last time we see Azula in the series is after her defeat. Here, Azula isn't a proud Fire Lord. She isn't a calm, confident, and calculating warrior, and she isn't a master manipulator. She's only a sad, lonely girl sobbing at the fact that there is not a soul in the world who cares about her. That is what an ideology of fear did for Azula. And of course, this is directly contrasted by Zuko's arc, who defeats Azula and thereby conquers any part of him that valued fear over love. any part of him that yearned for his father's approval. This final scene not only determines Azula's fate in the series, but Zuko's fate as well. So yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender is a good show. Thank you for watching. It was a true pleasure to talk about Avatar, given that it's one of my favorite shows of all time. If you enjoyed the video, likes, comments, and shares are greatly appreciated, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter to stay up to date on all the newest Critical Rants content. There are a lot of great videos coming your way in the near future, so until then, watch some Avatar, take care of yourself, and I will see you guys soon.